I want the peace of God. You want the peace of God. Welcome back, fam. Today we're going to be studying lesson 185 of A Course in Miracles, and we are going to remember what it is that we want. We don't want the cars, the clothes, the money, all that stuff in the world. There's nothing wrong with it, and yes, we're going to get a lot of that if it is our desire, but we, more than anything, want the peace of God, which can be found only within. Someone who's looking outside of themselves for that, and this is ultimately what everyone is looking for, although they may call it different things, will never find it unless they look within. That's the only place you're going to find it. Now, we are going to look where it is. We're going to look where it is. We're going to find it there. We're going to find it today if we haven't found it already. Now, let's go ahead and dive straight in. Go ahead and pull up to the lesson if you're not there already. And if you don't got the book yet, the PDF is in the description. Let's go ahead and begin. I want the peace of God. To say these words is nothing, but to mean these words is everything. If you could but mean them for just an instant, there would be no further sorrow possible for you in any form. And that's powerful because it's implying if you don't mean these words, you're going to experience sorrow in whatever form that it may take. So one more time, if you could but mean them for an instant, there would be no further sorrow possible for you in any form, in any place or time. Heaven would be completely given back to full awareness, memory of God entirely restored, the resurrection of all creation fully recognized. Now we're being given already in this first paragraph some powerful insight. We have the three words awareness, meaning we're going to have complete awareness, which means what's already there. It states memory of God entirely restored, which is another powerful word. It's whenever you restore something, think about what that means. You are remembering, you are being made aware of what is already there. You're restoring something that's already present. It's not something that we're making or we're bringing back. It's always here. And are we aware of the peace of God or not? And the resurrection of all creation fully recognized. Recognizes another powerful word in this paragraph, because whenever you recognize something, what does that mean? You recognize. You recognize, you remember. Again, you are, and that's a powerful word for the both of us to actually read the definition and activate that word recognized, because I could already feel that's such a powerful word. But for the most part, me and you are being made aware of what's already present. It's always here. The peace of God is always here. It can never not be. That is what everything is. Everything stems forth from the same oneness which me and you emerge forth from, which is love, light, and that which we call God. That is our source, and that is the source from everything. Everything that you see emerges forth from that source, and there is nothing that does not come forth from that source. It is simply that simple. Now, let's go ahead and continue, but if we're not already aware of that presence that's here right now, if we can't feel it, if we don't feel that abundance that is ours, or the peace that is ours, or love, or joy, or whatever it is that you feel like you're seeking for out there in the material world, we're going to find that right now, because we're actually going to look in the place where it is. So many people, including ourselves from time to time, don't know what it is, one, that we're looking for. We don't understand that we want the peace of God, so we think that we're looking for a relationship or an amount of money or an amount of something out there in the world, and we think that that's where we're going to find the peace of God. Although we don't call it the peace of God, this is ultimately what everyone is searching for, and they just call it different things, and they look for it in the wrong places. There's really not no wrong place to look for it, because whenever you're fully aware, you know that you can find the peace of God everywhere, because it is everywhere. However, that is not the case whenever you're first starting, because whenever you're first starting, you're not as aware as me and you have come to be these past few months that we've been studying this together. So we think that we're looking for happiness in a career, or we think that we're looking for love in a person, or joy in a material possession. And the problem with that is that that's in the world. It's an illusion. It means nothing, and it's ever changing. It's constantly changing. It's diminishing, it's fleeting. That emotion is very fleeting whenever you get that. However, whenever you realize that nothing we see means anything, and we have given everything we see all the meaning that it has for us, then we'll be like, okay, I'm starting to realize that I think that I want this thing outside of myself. However, I gave it all that meaning, which must mean that it's just a bag of dust. It doesn't mean nothing. It's a hologram. It's an illusion. And how can that fulfill me? It can't. So let me look within where the love really is. And whenever you see the love within and you start feeling that emotion unconditionally, then you will realize that it's everywhere. There is nowhere where there is not peace and love and joy. It is just whenever we're not feeling that emotion, as it's not the cause, when we're not feeling that emotion, we're not going to be able to see it anywhere else. So when you're looking for it out there, you're not going to find it. However, when you're in this emotion and embodying it, you're able to see it everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in the small things and the big things. It's always here for us. So we have to remember that we are just basically restoring to our minds the awareness of the peace of God that is always there, always has been there, and will forever be there. That is all that is. No one can mean these words and not be healed. He cannot play with dreams, nor think he is himself a dream. He cannot make a hell and think it real. He wants the peace of God, and it is given him, for this is all he wants, and that is all he will receive. Meaning, if this is not all that you want, you're not going to fully receive it. You are going to receive the peace of God in direct proportion to how much you want it. Meaning, I want the peace of God, but I also want that thing over there, and I think that that's where I'm going to find the rest of my love or happiness. Then you're only partially wanting the peace of God, and you're only going to partially get peace. And partial peace doesn't even make sense, because peace is whole. Peace is unified. Peace is, you're either peaceful or you're not. There's not partial peace. So there's a portion in A Course in Miracles text, and even in the earlier lessons, I believe it was introduced to us during lesson 6, but the lesson stated, there are no small upsets. All upsets are equally disturbing to my peace of mind. And that is very relevant to what we're discussing right now, because if you think about it, there's no small upsets, there's no big upsets, there's no levels. Levels are illusions. It's all just one. Whole, unified, no levels, no differences, no opposites. It's all encompassing. It's love, it's God, it's me and you. Now, in this world where it appears to be levels and dimensions and this, that, here, there, left, right, up, down, hot, cold, all that stuff appears to be separate. Those are all forms of separation. And whenever you think, okay, this situation in my life is getting me very angry and depressed and distraught, and this thing in my life is just a little bit of irritation and boredom, well, remember, there's no such thing as a small upset. They're all equally disturbing to your peace of mind. So although at one moment in time you're experiencing depression, and the next moment in time you're only experiencing a little bit of irritation, neither of those have any peace, because peace is whole. So they're both equally disturbing to your peace of mind. And whenever your peace of mind is disturbed, there's really no peace at all. Peace is a state of mind that you experience where there is no disturbances whatsoever. There is no lack, no worry, no doubt, no fear, no illusion. It is all love, all encompassing, and it is flooded in your mind. It is the only thing that is being active in your mind. Just love. That's it. And that is what me and you are going to get to if we're not there already. But just know that it states one more time right here, for that is all he wants, and that is all he will receive. If you want the peace that we're experiencing right now, and only this, you're going to experience it. But as long as someone thinks that they want the peace of God, but they want to hold on to this tiny little grievance out here and not let it go because they think that that person did something very terrible to them, and in this world, of course, they may have, but would you rather be right or happy? If you want to be right, you're most likely not going to be happy, because you're going to say how right you were and how wrong they were for doing that thing to you. Therefore, you want the peace of God, but not fully, not completely. Therefore, you're not going to get it at all. However, if this is all you want and you're willing to put that grievance away, and you're willing to put the goals and desires and everything away just for a little bit. I'm not saying don't accomplish those things still, because whenever you know what we know right now, accomplishing things in this world is fun, because you understand at the end of the day, your happiness is not dependent upon the goals that you reach. Me and you really think that from time to time we want that thing over there, and what we really want is the forward motion towards that thing. We don't want the destination, we want the journey towards the destination. Just like if me and you were to go on a vacation and we say, let's go ahead and go to Egypt, or let's go to Europe, or let's go to the United States, or let's go to wherever it is that you would like to travel in the world. Now, you think that if someone could just blast you there and you're there in one instant, you think that that's what you would want. Now, I'm not saying you specifically, but there's times where it's like, just put me there already. I want to be there. And then you get there and it's just like, cool, I'm in another part of the illusion. Like, it's not that fun. We want the journey of packing the bags, the experience, the journey of going to the airport or hopping on the private jet or whatever the situation may be. We want the experience of being in the sky or driving there. We want the experience of making a so-called mistake and then realizing that we could fix it and becoming more from that contrast that we experienced. And we want the journey and the fun with the people around us getting to that destination. And it would really be meaningless if you just got zapped there and didn't experience anything in between, because you want the journey, the forward motion, the evolution. It is not those things outside of us that we want. So again, one more time, we have to fully want the peace of God, and whenever we are experiencing the peace of God, which I believe we are right now, then and only then would it be a good idea to go out there and actually accomplish those things. Because trying to accomplish those whenever you're not feeling this way, what you're ultimately seeking for in the accomplishment of that goal is this feeling right here. But if you're already feeling it, then there's no purpose for trying to make this happen in order to feel an emotion. Therefore, you're feeling the emotion, and as a result, you are wanting to move that direction because you want to flow, go with the flow. You want to mold the clay and create, and you want to build a sandcastle. Whenever you are a little kid and your parents ask you, and let's just say your parents gave you two options. They're like, do you want to build a sandcastle? You say, yes, I want to build a sandcastle. And then what if they're like, okay, well, how about I just hire some contractors over here who could make the sandcastle for you? It'll be ready in like 10 minutes and it'll be the best sandcastle ever. It will be to the T, very beautiful, structured. It will be symmetrical, everything. And you're going to look at your parents and be like, I don't want that. I want to build a sandcastle. I don't want to have a sandcastle built for me so I could look at. I want to mold the clay. I want to go get the sand and put it in the bucket and mix the water in there, make sure that it's muddy. I want to put it on the ground. I want to cover it up with sand so that the moistness dries and it stays stiff. I want to build a sandcastle. Me and you want to build. We want to move forward. We want the journey towards. We want to create. We want to mold the clay. And that is something that a lot of people can't experience, because although they're doing all those things, they're waiting for the outcome. And when they get it, it's so fleeting, they're not going to feel that good for a very long time, which just defeats the whole purpose of moving in that direction to begin with, because they never enjoyed the journey. So let's make sure from now on that we're enjoying the journey. If we're not quite here in this emotion that is being conveyed right now, in this state of mind that is being conveyed, don't worry, because you don't even want this. You want the movement towards this. This is the goal. And I hope that made sense. I really, really do. Because if someone's not experiencing this state of mind right now and they really want to and they know that it's possible, the movement towards it is the best thing. Because whenever you get here, it was all worth it. You're here now. And whenever you're at peace for such a long time, it's like, I want to go stir some things up. I want to go fall asleep for a little bit so that way I could wake back up and feel the thrill of remembering who I am. So while we're here in this world, let's just make sure to enjoy it all. And the main priority is to remember that it's nowhere we're trying to go. We're already there. We're already all that is in this world, and everything in it is simply an illusion. And in truth, we are love and light. Simple, plain, easy. That is just how it goes. But while we're here, again, we can experience the worry, doubt, fear, anger, frustration. We can experience it, but me and you have a very large advantage over a lot of other people in this world. Me and you understand how to turn on and off those emotions by deliberate intent. Meaning, sometimes it feels good to feel angry. Sometimes it feels good to be a little serious. Sometimes it feels good to feel those, what we've been calling here for the past few months, illusions. And that is what is going to allow you to launch rockets of desires, if you will, to know more clearly what it is that you do want. Don't take what we're learning here so seriously. Have fun with this. As long as you know the foundation and the basic structure that we've been talking about, you know that there's nothing in this world that can ever happen that will cause who you really are to be altered and changed. Meaning, you are love and light, and as God created you and forever have been and forever will be, and nothing you do here, no quote mistakes, no quote sins, no nothing in this world you could ever do to diminish who you really are. So while we're here, let's embody who we really are, and whenever we're embodying that, then we understand that we can be the opposite of that by deliberate intent. We can experience the so-called opposite, if you will, of love, which is fear, and we can enjoy that, and we can turn it off and on like a switch. The reason why I say me and you have an advantage over a lot of other people is because they don't know what we know right now, so they get angry and triggered, and those uncontrollable and irrational emotions, they take control and dominion, and now this person's pissed and angry and they really mean it, and they are trapped in that emotion, and they're really struggling, and they do crazy things that are unnecessary, and they only hurt themselves even more and add more and more and more resistance on their trail, and they just have to wait for it to simmer down, and they need another condition in their life and another fix in order to get back to feeling good. However, we don't need that, because we know that we can turn off the scary emotion, or we could turn it on. And whenever you go to a scary movie, we've mentioned this analogy before. Whenever you go to a scary movie, you like going to the scary movie because you want to feel scared. You like going to the sad movie because you want to cry. Someone asks you, how did the movie go? And you're crying with tears, and you're saying it was so sad, it was great. And you literally paid money to go get sad and cry, or get scared, or paid money to go on a roller coaster to get scared. We pay money in this world, in this dream, to go experience the opposite of who we really are. Me and you are here right now to experience what it would be like to be one single portion of who we really are, rather than being who we really are at whole. Me and you wanted to experience what it would be like to perceive from one portion of ourselves, rather than how we usually do in truth, which is perceiving the whole as the whole. So that's going to continue, but we're working with some very powerful stuff right here. This is nothing new. Me and you are genius creators. We are not these bodies. Me and you are genius creators. Me and you have made an environment where we're such geniuses, we allowed ourselves to forget everything we're discussing right now, and we're such genius creators that we orchestrated an experience where something such as this can be put in our hands in order to wake us back up and remind us that we're such genius creators that we temporarily wanted to forget, so that way we can find a way to remember and experience what it would be like to remember. We wanted to feel what it would feel like to remember. If you want to feel that, you have to first experience what it's like to not know. If you want to know who you really are, you must first experience who you are not. If you really want to experience love, you're going to have to first experience the so-called opposite of it, which is fear. And we've done that, and me and you are in the presence of everything that we've known forever. So let's go ahead and give another round of applause to ourselves, because we've done this many times before. This is nothing new to us, and we are just here again in a different environment, in a different situation, circumstance, event, experiencing it for the millionth time because of the thrill that it brings us. So let's continue. But just know we are not new to this, all right? He wants the peace of God, and it is given him. For that is all he wants, and that is all he will receive. Many have said these words, but few indeed have meant them. You have but to look upon the world you see around you to be sure how very few they are. The world would be completely changed should any two agree these words express the only thing they want. Two minds with one intent become so strong that what they will becomes the will of God. For minds can only join in truth. In dreams no two can share the same intent. To each, the hero of the dream is different. The outcome wanted not the same for both. Loser and gainer merely shift about in changing patterns as the ratio of gain to loss and loss to gain takes on a different aspect or another form. Now, what we are being presented with right now in this paragraph is super powerful stuff right here. We're not going to go over it, but just take another look at that if you want to and really absorb everything that was just stated. Yet, compromise alone a dream can bring. Sometimes it takes the form of union, but only the form. The meaning must escape the dream, for compromising is the goal of dreaming. Minds cannot unite in dreams; they merely bargain. And what bargain can give them the peace of God? Illusions come to take his place. And what he means is lost to sleeping minds intent on compromise, each to gain and to another's loss. To mean you want the peace of God is to renounce all dreams, for no one means these words who wants illusions, and who therefore seeks the means which brings illusions. He has looked on the dream and found them wanting. Now he seeks to go beyond them, recognizing that another dream would offer nothing more than all the others. Dreams are one to him, and he has learned their only difference is one of form. For one will bring the same despair and misery as do the rest. This is some powerful stuff here, because the illusion that we are experiencing right now is fear, worry, doubt, etc. So although it may take many different forms, they're all going to net you some form of fear. And same thing for love. No matter how many different forms love may take, love is everywhere. It is only one. This is something that is going to require us to read over these words a few times and a bit slower to really comprehend, and we will understand this as we go along with these lessons. But just understand that there are only two options to choose from, and we've discussed this many times before. It is simply truth or false, truth or illusion, God or the ego, what is or what is not, seeing or not seeing at all, awake or asleep, peace or uncertainty, and fear and upset. Those are the only options we have ever. The mind which means that all it wants is peace must join with other minds, for that is how peace is obtained. And when the wish for peace is genuine, the means for finding it is given. And one more time, because this is important, this is implying, the statement that was just made is implying, and I'm going to read it one more time. And when the wish for peace is genuine, the means for finding it is given. Me and you have had a genuine wish for peace, a genuine wish for peace. And because of that genuineness of the wish that we had for peace, the means for finding it was given, which simply was the form of A Course in Miracles, maybe. And who knows, you may have been on this journey even before you found this course. I know I was, but all I know looking back is that my wish for peace was so genuine that something of this nature and pureness was able to spawn into my awareness and give me what it is that I was looking for, and remind me, if you will, what I already had and who I already was. Because that wish that I had was genuine, I wanted the peace of God, and not only wanted the peace of God, but I only wanted the peace of God. And that's the difference between someone who's going to really obtain this state of mind and keep searching for it. Is it that you want it, or is this the only thing you want? Because someone could want this and want something else. You could want a lot of things, but whenever you only want something, that just shows how united your mind is, because you don't want this and this and this and this and this. You just want one thing. And whenever your mind is focused on one outcome, you are going to flow so much more attention in that one direction and cause its physical counterpart, if you will, to come about, rather than if you're watering all kinds of different plants at once. Me and you, again, are source energy, and everywhere we flow our attention is where we flow our energy, our life force. So if I want 10 different things, that must mean that I'm giving my attention to 10 different things, and I am watering 10 different plants, but I only have I'm only giving such limited amount of attention to these things. However, if I want this one thing, which is the peace for God, and I'm watering only that, it is going to grow so much bigger and faster until we get to this point where we're at right now. The only reason why me and you are here experiencing what we're experiencing is because this is what we wanted, and not only what we wanted, but the only thing that we wanted. And now, when we remain in this state of mind long enough, we will never have to try again. We will never have to want this again, because it will never leave. We will just simply be in the state of awareness that it is always present, that even we'll get so good at this to the point that even if we do forget, in the back of our minds we're still aware, like it's okay. You know what I mean? So this is super fun. This is a very great day to be alive, a very great time, if you will, to be alive. Me and you are experiencing no time. Me and you are experiencing the now. We're not in the past or the future. We are experiencing the only time that there ever really is, now. And that's such a great place to be, because a lot of people don't spend a lot of time here. And when the wish for peace is genuine, the means for finding it is given. In a form, each mind that seeks for it in honesty can understand. Beautiful. Before we continue, I'm going to pause again and let's break this down. It states, and I'm going to read the whole sentence again. And when the wish for peace is genuine, like ours was, the means for finding it is given. In a form, each mind that seeks for it in honesty can understand, which in this case would be A Course in Miracles. Now, that's again another analogy, because you could have had a lot of prerequisite work and material before you even came to this. But for my case, for instance, I had a lot of prerequisite material that caused this to fall on my lap, and not only caused it to fall on my lap, but it was my perfect time, because of all the prerequisite work I've done. This was easy to comprehend for me. If I didn't do what I did before, I wouldn't be able to comprehend it. I wouldn't be able to see the light that I see now. I wouldn't be able to experience what I'm experiencing now. So that's powerful that it states, in a form, each mind that seeks for it in honesty can understand. Meaning, we're all on our own individual journeys, if you will, here in this illusion, in this dream. Meaning, in this world, we grew up with different backgrounds and different belief systems. And although this course that me and you have been reading for the past a good amount of time now, this was something that resonated with us and helped us see truth. But remember, there's only one truth spoken in many different ways. So my goal here is not to try to get everyone to read A Course in Miracles, because I understand exactly what was stated right here. I understand that it will be given in a form each mind that seeks for it in honesty can understand. So I understand that if someone's really searching for the peace of God and only the peace of God, they're going to find it. And if they find it in another form, that's completely fine. And I am not downing them for that form or telling them that this form is better than that form, because even doing that would mean that I haven't got it yet. Because if I believe that there's another form that is better than, I'm still in the world of duality. I'm still in the world of illusion. However, whenever me and you, which we are at the point where we could see truth in everything, there's truth in this course, there's truth in that book, in that material, in that audio, in that person. There is truth everywhere, but you can't see it if you're not tuned to that station. So although it's right in front of us all the time, we're not going to be able to comprehend it or even be aware that it's there. So that's why it's good to be at the place where we're at right now, very non-judgmental, and knowing that everyone's on their own journey, and what they are doing right now is what was the path of least resistance for them, and that may be their way. There are people out there who are very passionate of other material, just like how we are passionate about A Course in Miracles, and that's completely fine, and there is no difference between us and that individual. It's just that the form that we're teaching is different, but the intention behind the form is exactly the same. The meaning behind the form is exactly the same. It is truth, and it is the peace of God. And one more time, in a form each mind that seeks for it in honesty can understand. So let's remember that, and let's kind of backtrack and be like, oh wow, it makes sense now that this was the form that I understand, because it fell on my lap, and I've been here and I've been understanding it, and I've been getting the hang of this, and I've been feeling at peace more. I've been feeling joyous more, happy more. I've been feeling more love, more freedom, more abundance, more of all those things. There is no wrong path. And one more thing on this subject before we leave it and continue reading the rest of the lesson is that something that a lot of individuals out there, including myself at one point, that I see a lot of individuals get stuck with is they think that it's somewhere else. They think that truth is somewhere else, and they believe that what's right in front of them is not quite enough. And that belief stems from you believing that you're not quite enough. Whenever you feel like your house is not quite enough, or your apartment's not quite enough, or your car is not quite enough, or your bank account's not quite enough, or your friends are not quite enough, or your family is not quite enough, etc. Whenever you feel, or whenever one feels like what they're experiencing right in this present now is not quite enough, I promise you there's no other way. I promise you that stems from an even deeper belief of you believing that you're not enough. And that stems from the belief of separation, because no one can believe that you're not enough unless you don't know who you are, which is separation. So remember, me and you believe, and everyone out there believes, that they have many different problems, but there's only really one problem. And that problem, if you could even call it that, is the belief in separation. And again, remember, there's no separation. The belief is the key word here. That's all it is, a belief in separation. But whenever you restore to your awareness the unity and oneness that we are all one with and emerge forth from, you understand there is no separation. Therefore, you know who you are. Therefore, you are blessed with what you have right in front of you, because you see the love all around you. And only whenever you reach that point can you actually evolve and change the form in this world to different forms of different experiences, of different cars or clothings or bank accounts or friends or status or whatever it is that one wants to experience in this world. But it's because you know that that's all it is form, and form is meaningless. So that's a stumbling block a lot of people experience is, I'm studying this material right here, but it's not quite enough, so I need to go to that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. And they could find it everywhere, but it's only whenever you dial in on one, like me and you have been doing for the past 185 days, that we actually find it where it is, which is not in the words, but it's in the meaning behind the words. It is between the lines. It is the energy that is being conveyed by the words. It is not the words themselves. The words are just form, and the words in that material over there, and that audio, and the ones that are that person speaking, are just form. But the meaning behind all of those things, all of those forms, is the same, and it's what we're discussing right now. And that's why, one more thing before we continue, it's super important to have discernment, because now that me and you know exactly what it feels like to be at peace, and we know what we've been discussing for the past 185 days, we know that, okay, I understand that truth is everywhere. However, whenever I go listen to other audios or different people, or see see it somewhere else and they're speaking it, I could kind of get an idea of where their understanding is. And if there's something that contradicts what truth is, then I know that person is, I understand that that form is conveying truth to the best of its ability in this world. But we have to remember that no matter how pure some material or course or someone could speak these words, they will never be perfection that could just give someone an experience, because that is something that each individual perspective has to have. Each individual person has to remove their own illusions that are blocking them from perceiving what we're experiencing right now. So although you may think that A Course in Miracles is one of the best ways to zap someone back into reality, if we give it to the lowest frequency person, they're not going to understand or comprehend it. And it goes for the same with any piece of material, because one has to be ready and willing and wanting only to experience this experience, because if not, they are not going to experience it, which is why the moral of this entire dialogue that we just had was to focus on your own journey and have that discernment for yourself, and be so anchored here to the point where you no longer have to try. Focusing on where someone else is at is irrelevant and is only doing ourselves a disservice, because now our attention is on something else that we can't comprehend or experience, because they're in their own world. They're in their own little illusion, in their own little bubble, or their own experience of peace and love and joy. And you have to experience that yourself by removing all illusions to that. And only now can our minds be joined, because they are joined in peace. Illusions cannot be shared, but love can be shared, which is why we're having this experience together. So let's go ahead and continue. But that dialogue was super powerful stuff, and I could definitely see how our awareness of who we really are has been evolving over the past few months that we've been here together, because the amount of knowledge that is being conveyed to us right now that we're just picking up and receptive to and we're discussing is just really out of this world. Whatever form the lesson takes is planned for him in such a way that he cannot mistake it. If his asking is sincere, our asking was sincere, and we cannot mistake that this is the path for us. But if he asks without sincerity, there is no form in which the lesson will meet with acceptance and be truly learned. So although the material can be given to that person, they will not truly learn it. They're not ready for it. Let us today devote our practicing. And one more thing that just popped to my mind before we continue. Whenever we have to remember that we have what we like to call free will. We all have free will. So there is no way that this person who they call God can insert this knowledge to them. They have to want it. It has to be their will. No matter how much me and you want to just blast someone with this awareness and zap them back into reality, we can't do that, because that individual over there has free will, and they have to really be wanting this and only this in order to experience it. And as long as they believe that there's something out there that is more valuable than this, they are going to not fully want this. Therefore, they're not going to be able to experience what we're experiencing right now, and that's completely fine. But we have to understand, not looking at them no more, but looking at ourselves, it works the same for us. If me and you are in the illusion and we want to experience the peace of God again whenever we fall asleep and we know we're asleep, we're in worry, doubt, or fear, and we can't really reach this state of mind that we're at right now, we have to remember, oh, this must mean that I am holding on to something right now and I'm not letting go of it, and that's what's stopping me from experiencing the love that I would feel otherwise if I released all blocks towards love, because love just abides, love abounds, love is what is and all that is, which means that if I'm not experiencing it at any moment in time, I must be the one with blocks up in my consciousness that is preventing me from experiencing that. So let me want the peace of God and only the peace of God. And whenever I only want that, it will be given. There is no way that it cannot be given. Remember, the lesson begins with this powerful sentence. To say these words is nothing, but to mean these words is everything. If you could but mean them for just an instant, there would be no further sorrow possible for you in any form, in any place or time. Heaven would be completely given back to full awareness, memory of God entirely restored, the resurrection of all creation fully recognized. Let us today devote our practicing to recognizing that we really mean the words we say. We want the peace of God. This is no idle wish. These words do not request another dream be given to us. They do not ask for compromise, nor try to make another bargain in the hope that there may be yet one that can succeed where all the rest have failed. To meet these words acknowledges illusions are in vain, requesting the eternal in the place of shifting dreams which seem to change in what they offer but are one in nothingness. Today, devote your practicing periods to careful searching of your mind, to find the dreams you cherish still. What do you ask for in your heart? Forget the words you use in making your requests. Consider but what you believe will comfort you and bring you happiness. But be you not dismayed by lingering illusions, for their form is not what matters now. Let not some dreams be more acceptable, reserving shame and secrecy for others. They are one, and being one question should be asked of all of them. Is this what I would have in place of heaven and the peace of God? This is the choice you make. Be not deceived that it is otherwise. No compromise is possible in this. You choose God's peace, or you have asked for dreams. Simple. You choose God's peace, or you have asked for dreams. Remember, me and you only ever have two options: truth or false, love or illusion, God or the ego, what is or what is not, love or fear. That's it. Ever. No compromise is possible in this. You choose God's peace, or you have asked for dreams. And dreams will come as long as you request them. Yet will God's peace come just as certainly and to remain with you forever. So remember, if we're wanting two opposing goals, we're not going to receive it. We're going to stay in the illusion if we want two opposing things. Meaning, if I want something of the illusion and something of love, I'm not going to get love. Because in order to get love, it must be perfect love, which means all you're wanting must be over here, which means that you really have to want something and only want that thing if you really want to get it, which is peace of God in this case. All of our willingness has to come in this direction, because if there's a little part of our mind that wants something other than the love and peace of God, then we're not going to be able to get to this state of mind. Even if it seems like a tiny little strand of awareness wants something in the illusion, we're not going to fully be able to reach the state of oneness, because there's a part of us that wants something that is in opposition to the desire that we have for the oneness. Meaning, if you have a desire to experience the peace of God, and I'm talking all you're wanting is here, you're going to experience it. However, if you want the peace of God, but not only you have a little bit of something in the world still that you believe is still valuable, you're not going to experience the state of mind. It is an awareness that there is only one, that is only love, and trying to choose something that is really not there is going to stop you from experiencing love at all. Yet will God's peace come just as certainly and to remain with you forever. It will not be gone with every twist and turning of the road, to reappear unrecognized in forms which shift and change with every step you take. You want the peace of God, And so do all who seem to seek for dreams. Right there. So do all who seek for dreams, or who seem to seek for dreams. Everybody wants the peace of God. Everybody does. Everybody does. I promise you that everybody does. The only difference between someone who actually finds the peace of God is that they looked for it where it really was, and that is the only thing that they wanted. Individuals who don't find this are believing that they're going to find it in some worldly thing, worldly possession or circumstance or event or occurrence. And they think that it goes deeper than what we're discussing right now. They think that they want this physical thing, and they don't know why they want that. But if they really ask, why do I want this? And then they get to the answer, and then they ask, why do I want that? And then get to the answer, and they ask, why do I want that? And they go all the way down to the bottom. It is going to always be that individual really wants the peace of God. That individual really wants connectedness. That individual really wants restored to their mind the truth. They want restored to their awareness the oneness, that they are a part of all that is. They want the remembrance of who they really are. They want the awareness that there is no separation. That is why anyone wants anything. However, because they don't know that that is the reason why they want that thing, because they didn't dive that deep, they only are getting the illusion surface level. I want this because whatever reason, and they get it, and because they're not anchored in the state of mind that we're in right now, they are not finding what they're looking for. Or maybe they have, which is happiness and joy, but it's so fleeting because they're not anchored in the state of mind. Because although something in the world can make you feel this way, it's because you gave it the meaning to do so. But whenever you no longer give anything in the world any meaning, then you will experience this fully, because you will understand that all there is love, and everything in the world is part of the oneness from which you emerge forth from. This is super easy, simple stuff right here. However, it appears to be very complex to the sleeping mind for whatever reason. And that reason is because they believe that they want something that is opposing this. You want the peace of God, and so do all who seem to seek for it in dreams. For them as well as for yourself, you ask but this when you make this request with deep sincerity. For thus you reach to what you really want, and join your own intent with what they seek above all things, perhaps unknown to them, but sure to you. You have been weak at times, uncertain in your purpose, and unsure of what you wanted, where to look for it, and where to turn for help in the attempt. Help has been given you, and would you not avail yourself of it by sharing it? No one who truly seeks the peace of God can fail to find it, for he merely asks that he deceive himself no longer by denying to himself what is God's will. Who can remain unsatisfied who asks for what he has already? Who could be unanswered who requests an answer which is his to give? The peace of God is yours. For you was peace created, given you by its creator, and established as his own eternal gift. How can you fail when you but ask for what he wills for you? And how could your request be limited to you alone? No gift of God can be unshared. It is this attribute that sets the gift of God apart from every dream that ever seemed to take the place of truth. No one can lose, and everyone must gain whenever any gift of God has been requested and received by anyone. God gives but to unite. To take away is meaningless to him. And when it is as meaningless to you, you can be sure you share one will with him, and he with you. And you will also know you share one will with all your brothers whose intent is yours. It is this one intent we seek today, uniting our desires with the need of every heart, the call of every mind, the hope that lies beyond despair, the love attack would hide, the brotherhood that hate has sought to sever, but which still remains as God created it. With help like this beside us, can we fail today as we request the peace of God be given us? And the answer is no. Me and you cannot fail. So I really enjoyed our time here together. That is it. This was a very powerful lesson today. There's really nothing left that has to be spoken. And if this was the only lesson that we ever read and we went our separate ways forever, this would have had all the answers in it. So yeah, our only purpose here, because I'm sure we're aware of everything we're reading right now, our only purpose here is to anchor in this state of mind where we never leave here, and when we do, we have the option to get back effortlessly, just like that. And we are at control, and we are in dominion. This is our world. This is our awareness, and no one can get us here but us. We learned that today. We remembered that today, that we have free will, and if we don't want this holy, then we're not going to get it. And if we want this holy, there is no way that we cannot not get it. So let's go ahead and conclude today's lesson. It was a pleasure spending this moment in your presence. We are going to meet here again tomorrow for lesson 186. And until then, I will see you tomorrow.